So ever since I came here, I've been trying to come to terms with our tax system, but today I realized I just can't. There's one thing in our tax system that I think is backwards, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and it's difficult. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about the 55% of tax that we occasionally have to pay in this country. And while that's not technically true, nobody pays 55%, Denmark is still one of the most heavily taxed countries in the world. In the OECD countries, it's the second biggest tax to GDP ratio country. We pay about 43% of all the GDP that we generate. We pay that into the government, and then the government redistributes that. Now, a lot of people confuse overall tax rate versus marginal tax rate. The 55% is the marginal tax rate of the highest tier of the progressive tax system. What that means is above a certain level of income, which is roughly 100,000 euros per year, somebody decided that you have to pay an extra amount on the amount that is above 100,000. Whatever you make extra, you will be kindly asked to put in to the common bucket more than what they allow you to keep. And I think that's not fair. I don't have a problem with the amount of tax that I pay on my salary. What I pay is, I think, the same as what most people pay, 30-something% of their wage. And that is the same as that was in Hungary, also relatively highly taxed on wages. So I was okay with that. And I'm also okay with the fact that there's a relatively low corruption, and it is being spent on the right things mostly. What I'm not okay with is the progressive nature of it. So why is it unfair? I'm absolutely support equal opportunities. That's very important. But I also feel that with the current tax system, we are also pushing equal outcomes. To me, that's a huge red flag. I currently don't pay Topskat, but I'm kind of close to it. If I would get promoted or one of my side hustles would pick up, I would soon be paying Topskat. My overall tax would still be probably somewhere around 40% total. The message is that the extra you make, we're going to take more than half of that. It feels like punishment. It feels like the system doesn't want me to make that much money. It doesn't want me to stand out of the crowd, so to speak. And I think that comes from socialism. And why I say that this is a huge red flag for me is because I grew up in Eastern Europe. I grew up in a country that tried socialism. We tried it, and it doesn't work. People are not equals, and people don't want to be equals. They want to outperform each other, and that's how we develop, and that's how we go the extra line, and that's how we go forward. I think Janteloven should go to the bin, and I think if you do something extraordinary, you should be able to enjoy the fruits of that extraordinary. But maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, then chipping, because I'm here to learn. Another argument that people always come up with is that, sure, there's all these big taxes, and at least there's an equality, like the benefits serve everyone equally. And I've seen that that's not the case, because you still have private insurance for healthcare, you have private pension funds. I could get in front of the queue with the health insurance that I have through work. It's not entirely equal. And I think it's also not entirely equal to expats, especially. Also, the thing about job security and unemployment benefits, those don't go by default. You have to pay a separate insurance for unemployment called the A-kasse. If I didn't pay that as an expat, and if I got unemployed, I could go to the Kommuna and could apply to get some kind of help, but I don't think that I would get it, being an expat. Denmark kind of treats expats as a transaction, and I think any country should, in order to protect themselves. Denmark is a small country, so of course it's an understandable need. But if you look at it as a transaction, then Denmark has largely benefited from me being here. Like, the state of Denmark didn't have to invest in my education. I came here educated and with the experience, and I create the GDP, I operate the economy, and I pay taxes. Great. And so if I were to lose my job, then I would be told to go home. But this is home. Even if you're an EU citizen, your legal permit to stay depends on you being able to support yourself. That's why I say that this is a transaction. And so, if you're treated like a transaction, then you also tend to look at it as a transaction and ask yourself, is it worth it for me? And I'm trying not to look at it as a transaction. I'm trying to look at it as like a partnership. And I think it's probably easier if you're born in this country and if you've been raised here and that's all you know and that's you're part of the fabric of society, then you maybe understand the high taxation better. For me, I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to. So I don't know. What do you think? Is it overrated? Am I ranting here? Am I overreacting? Is it also forced on the minority by the majority? So is it like 90% of society unfairly robbing 10% of the society? Is it that? Because in that case, it's unfair, right? Because not only you are paying more than your membership fee, but you're also paying disproportionately more than what's your weight to carry. Of course, bigger shoulders should carry more weight, but with the proportionate taxation, where everybody pays the same percentage, we already covered that. So with Topskat, we are even beyond that. And I think that's not fair. But I'm actually going to shut up now, because if we look at the club membership analogy, then I guess there's like low membership fee clubs and high membership fee clubs. For the high one, you pay more, but you get more. You get what you pay for. And in countries, people are, if you're born in a country, you cannot choose to go for a lower tier of citizenship, I guess. The only way to change the club is by moving countries. And that's what I did. So I actually chose to join this club and I chose these membership fees. So I'm the only person that cannot complain. So I'll stop that. But I just thought that I would bring this up as a discussion because I think I just can't wrap my head around it. I think it's socialism and I would love to learn and I would love to hear what you think about this. Also expats, locals or internationals that are not even in Denmark. I think it's a really interesting point to discuss. Let me hear it in the comment. If you like this video, please do give me a like. If you want to hear more like that, please subscribe to the channel. I thank you for joining today and I will see you in the next video.